The first thing I remember is pain. Cold mud under my body, heavy rain on my back, and one of my front legs refusing to move no matter how much I tried to stand. I remember the smell of wet leaves and fear. I was so small back then. My bulb was barely bigger than a berry. My legs were shaky, and every shadow felt like something that wanted to step on me. I tried to crawl under a bush to hide, but each movement sent a sting through my leg. I thought that was it. I'd be stuck there, alone in the forest. And then I heard footsteps. Not the heavy stomping kind of a big Pokémon. Soft, careful. One step, then another. The rustle of branches pushed aside. I squeezed my eyes shut and curled up as tight as I could, vines shaking under my skin. Something warm stopped right next to me. Soft gasp, then a voice, low, gentle. I didn't understand the words, but I understood the tone. He knelt down in front of me, a human, maybe around 30, with slightly long, messy hair, rain dripping from his brown jacket, eyes full of worry, but not for himself, for me. He held out his hands, slowly. I could have tried to whip him with my vines or bite, but I was too tired, too scared, too done. So when he carefully slid his arms under my body and lifted me up against his chest, I didn't fight. For the first time that day, I felt warm. I remember the sound of the sliding door at his house, the bright light of indoors, the smell of something cooking in the kitchen, and then the feeling of being placed into a soft box lined with towels right next to a little lamp that gave off a gentle heat. He cleaned the mud from my leg, wrapped it with something soft and white, talked to me the whole time in that same calm, steady voice. I couldn't understand the language, but I understood this: I'm not going to hurt you. So I closed my eyes, listened to the rhythm of his voice, and fell asleep. When I woke up again, I wasn't in the forest anymore. I was in a small room filled with plants in pots, sunlight coming in through a window, and the soft hum of some human machine. My leg still hurt, but less. I could move it now, even if it was shaky. My human walked in carrying a bowl, fresh water, some chopped berries, a strange little green pellet that smelled suspicious. I sniffed it, glared at him. He laughed, pushed the berries closer to me instead, so I ate those first. Every day after that, he checked my leg, changed the bandages, and gently stretched it to make sure I could walk. At first, I stumbled and fell. My bulb tugged me backwards. My front leg wasn't ready, but he stayed close, hands hovering just under my chest, ready to catch me if I slipped. It was the first time I realized something important. I wasn't alone anymore. Once I could walk without limping, he opened the back door, and I saw it. The world that would become mine. He carried me out in his arms the first time and set me gently down on the soft grass. The feeling under my feet was perfect, cool, damp, full of life. A backyard garden, wild but cared for. Patches of tall grass, rows of flowers, a small vegetable plot, and a huge old tree spreading shade over almost everything. The air was warm and full of the scent of soil, blossoms, and possibilities.
I reached out with my roots, just a little, felt the water in the soil, the nutrients, the connection. My bulb tingled. This was home.
In the weeks that followed, our routine was simple, but it changed everything. Mornings, he'd bring me outside just as the sun was rising over the fence. I'd find a nice patch of earth, plant my feet, and soak in the light. I could almost feel the energy flowing up through my body, storing itself inside the bulb on my back. He noticed. He started moving my favorite planter box to the sunniest spots, built a little wooden platform for me so I could lounge above the vegetable beds, even put a shallow water tray nearby so I could drink whenever I wanted.
And then the training began. He didn't call it that, of course. He just smiled, set up more things in the yard, and watched what I did. He tied small bells to string and hung them from tree branches. I learned to flick them gently using my vines. At first, my vines came out clumsy, whipping wildly and smacking the ground. But day by day, I gained more control. Tap, flick, wrap, pull. Sometimes I hit him by accident. He laughed every single time.
He set up little targets made of cardboard and leaves. I learned to focus my energy and send spinning blades of leaves flying through the air. Razor leaf. They scattered petals and shredded cardboard, and each time they flew straighter, faster, sharper. At night, when the moon was bright, he would bring a blanket and lay down beside me in the garden. I'd curl up near his shoulder, listening to the chorus of wild Pokémon in the distance, feeling the energy slowly refill my body. I was still small, still a bit nervous, but I was changing, and the garden was changing with me. Plants grew better around where I slept. Flowers opened a little wider. Vines crawled up the fence a little faster. Sometimes I'd test how much control I had over them, sending a gentle pulse of energy from my bulb into the soil. They responded. I wasn't just living in the garden anymore. I was part of it. Then the day that would change me arrived. One beautiful morning, I was basking in the early sun. Then he gave me a light snack. I was admiring my reflection in the water and practicing as usual. I accidentally broke his potted plant, but he just smiled happily at me.
Suddenly, the sky turned gloomy, covered in gray clouds. The wind blew strongly, the trees in the garden swaying violently. While I was practicing, a sudden gust of wind knocked a branch off, about to fall onto the porch where he was standing. Without thinking, I lunged forward. Vines shot out more forcefully than ever, wrapping around the branch, pulling it off course and causing it to fall to the ground. My whole body felt hot, but not from fear. It was because something inside me was changing. The sprouts on my back glowed. My limbs lengthened. My body became heavier, more solid. When the light faded, he looked at me, his eyes wide open. Ivysaur. I looked down. The tiny seed on my back has now grown into a large, vibrant flower bud. I am no longer the little Bulbasaur of the forest. For the first time, I feel proud of my own shadow. My master ran to me, braving the rain, and wrapped his arms around my neck. I leaned against him. I was no longer the small, wounded Bulbasaur. I was getting closer to the image I was meant to be. The older I got, the more attached I became to the backyard garden. Every tree, bush, and patch of grass underfoot felt familiar to me. I knew where the sun was brightest in the morning, where it was coolest in the afternoon, and where the insects were most abundant in the evening. He added rocks for my jumping practice, and some empty spaces for me to test new techniques. Analysis packets, nutritional water bottles, all part of a training program I didn't fully understand, but loved. He started building more things in the yard. Wooden posts, ramps, thick ropes hanging from tree branches, a small circle of rocks in the corner for target practice. We practiced harder. Vine whip, controlled and strong enough to lift a rock into the air. Razor leaf, faster and sharper. And new techniques, solar beam. At first, we trained slowly. He would stand at a safe distance, his eyes wide as I focused the light on the flower on my back. The energy was intense, heavy. The moment I fired my beam, it suddenly became excessively powerful, and before he and I realized it, the ground was left with only a deep, long trench. Each time, he let out a small, impressive whistle. He also began to take me a little further away, closer to the forest where he first found me. Just the edge, never too deep. If a wild Pokémon came too close to home, I would be there. Not to harm them, just to warn them to leave. Vine's whip was ready. Eye gaze was steady. I was basking in the sun here and taking advantage of the opportunity to train solar beam. I blinked, a deep breath, feeling the sunlight stream through each leaf, soaking into the flower on my back. When I opened my eyes, the world was bathed in a soft golden light. The flowers bloomed profusely,
spreading their fragrance. My body grew, my legs as firm as tree trunks, and as the light gently faded, I was Venusaur.
That person ran to me, embracing my neck, though now I was almost half the size of the yard. I heard laughter, gasps of joy, and a phrase I'd heard 1,000 times but never tired of. Well done. From a Bulbasaur abandoned in the forest, I had become the guardian of this garden.
For a long time, everything was peaceful. In the morning, I basked in the sun with the plants. At noon, I slept in the shade created by the flower on my back. In the afternoon, I helped the gardener, dropping heavy flowers and plants, lifting branches, using vines to pull out weeds. That person often sat on the terrace, dressed in something hot, watching me with a reassuring smile. Only me twice. A small house, a green garden, and gentle tranquility. This is our home.
One day, new members of the family started appearing one by one. I was napping under a tree when the back door slid open and he stepped out, carrying something. A blue egg inside a bowl? A small blue Pokémon with a curled tail, still a little wobbly, blinking in the bright light, lay inside its shell, confusing me. Squirtle. After spending some time in the tank, this little guy was finally able to go outside and swim more and play hide and seek with me. Squirtle slept even more than I did. After another long while, another small orange egg appeared. I was curious to know what Pokémon was inside, but hoped it would be well behaved. And then, the egg hatched, and it was Charmander. It looked cute. This little lizard was initially very curious about being taken out of the house for the first time. Charmander meets Squirtle. The result? They're noisy. They're clumsy. They're quite adorable. But now the yard isn't just my quiet garden anymore. It's a playground, a training ground, a place filled with splashes of water, tiny sparks, and our owner running back and forth trying to keep up with both of us. I'll watch from the shade as Squirtle learns to shoot controlled streams of water at targets, but hits humans in the face, haha, and Charmander practices its own little fire-breathing techniques. They're growing fast. So am I.
It should have been a peaceful afternoon. I was in my favorite spot in the backyard, half asleep, letting the sun warm the petals and flowers on my back. Birds chirped, leaves rustled. The ground was perfect. It was truly quiet and comfortable. Then I heard a loud shout.
Squirtle! Squirtle! Char! Char!
I jolted open one eye. Squirtle and Charmander were standing at the edge of the lake, arguing about something. And then they started a long, drawn-out battle. A battle that wasn't friendly, nor was it peaceful. Squirtle and Charmander started with shoving and wrestling. Then they began using moves. Perhaps because Charmander hatched later than Squirtle and had a type advantage, Charmander lost their first battle. From that day on, both began training intensely to defeat each other. Squirtle practiced accurately spraying water onto the dragon grass. Charmander practiced shooting fireballs at wooden targets and sparring with smaller opponents like Caterpie and Weedle. The number of battles between the two increased, but Squirtle mostly emerged victorious. I sighed. They were making noise again today, but it seemed louder than usual. Charmander evolved first into Charmeleon. Charmeleon immediately went to find Squirtle to fight again. Water splashed everywhere, fire roared, steam rose into the air like small clouds. The floor tiles became slippery. Charmeleon slipped and tumbled. The sky darkened for a moment, and Squirtle also evolved into Wartortle. The humans said something that surprised Charmeleon and Wartortle, causing them to fight even more fiercely. The battle became more dangerous, and the extent of the destruction increased from the pool to the training ground, leaving us humans clutching our heads. The fence was wet. My favorite flower beds were in danger because of the battle. Part of me felt uneasy. I prefer peace and quiet, but I didn't interfere. I burrowed deeper into the bushes, only my eyes visible through the foliage. From here, they couldn't see me. To them, I was just part of the garden. That was perfect, because I had the best spot just to watch these two little ones cause trouble. Though noisy, it was quite fun. I had to bite my vines to keep from laughing. Wartortle used some kind of move, spinning around and spraying water at Charmeleon. This time, Charmeleon was still defeated by the water. After this battle, I got a long, peaceful rest.
I felt proud. These were my housemates, my noisy, chaotic, sometimes ridiculous family. They often fought, but never let things go too far. They were careful not to put our home in danger. I didn't need to intervene. I didn't have to wait long. Finally, both of them evolved into their final forms, just like me, Charizard and Blastoise. This time the battle was more intense. Charizard and Blastoise's destructive power was greater, but it also ended faster. The battle ended, but there was no loser, and more importantly, Charizard was no longer afraid of water. The battle ended with Blastoise returning to the pool and basking in the sun. Charizard went inside and enjoyed its afternoon snack.
The aftermath of the explosions created a scorching mist and hot air swirling toward the garden. I'm used to it now. The beds with the tenderest seedlings, the most delicate flowers, the tiny herbs my master had just planted, wilted after the battle. I moved before I even realized it. Vines sprouted from beneath my feet, digging deep into the earth, connecting me to the garden. I channeled my energy deep into the soil. The wilted garden recovered instantly, except for the completely burnt areas. It was quite unpleasant, but I couldn't seem to get angry. Silence. The ground beneath my feet trembled with power. The flower on my back swayed, each petal glowing from within. I felt the sunlight, the earth, the roots, the water, the air. It all flowed into me. The world and the garden seemed to merge with me. Suddenly, I saw a dark spot in that stream of white light, and an unsettling feeling immediately flooded my mind. I didn't know what it was. Strange images flashed through my head, but I couldn't remember what they were. Perhaps that's what kept me alone in the forest when I was a Bulbasaur? I wondered, falling into a panic.
I, Venusaur, opened my eyes and looked at the garden, calming myself down. Now I was no longer the small, wounded Bulbasaur lying alone in the mud. No longer the small Ivysaur learning to control its power. A protector. I glanced around the yard. Ancient trees, vegetable beds, flower beds, training equipment, a swimming pool. The clumsy, wonderful Pokémon that live with me here. The one who chose to carry a frightened and injured Bulbasaur out of the stormy forest instead of walking through it. This isn't just a backyard garden. It's my forest, my home, my responsibility. So I set my feet firmly on the ground, held my head high, and let the giant flower on my back bloom in the sun. I will grow up here. I will protect this place. I will watch over the people I love. My name is Venusaur,